Hello, my name is Lois Dixon Myers here in Houston at my home, standing next to my beloved father, Dr. James Allen Dixon, a fellow of the Mayo Clinic. I'd like to talk with you a little bit about what he had to say if we ever got socialized medicine in our country. Just to let you know, I come from a medical family. There were many surgeons on my father's side of my family, and my father is a third-generation University of Pennsylvania Medical School graduate, which is one of the top 3 medical schools even today in America. From there, he went to the backyard of Harvard at MIT, at the famous Leahy Clinic in Boston, then went back to the oldest family surgical clinic in Pennsylvania near Philadelphia, the Attlee Clinic. The Attlee brothers referred him to the Mayo brothers of the very famous Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota, where I was born. You know, my father said toward the end of his year in practicing medicine in private practice in Pennsylvania, where he went back after he studied and taught at the Mayo Clinic for many years, that America would go broke because America just cannot afford socialized medicine. And in the Mayo tradition, as the Mayo brothers wanted and instructed all of the surgeons to do there at that time, back in the 40s, where my father was there, a member of the Priestly Society, the honor group of surgeons at the Mayo Clinic, where the professors were world-renowned. Doctors from all over the world would come there to the Mayo Clinic just to see them perform one operation. And in my father's book that he wrote toward the end of his life, Scalpel, Sponges, and Sutures, he talks about his times at the Mayo Clinic and his ideas on medicine and the history of surgery in our country. So he was saying that, you know, if we ever get what the Mayo brothers wanted all of these surgeons to do, and what they practiced was, if you did not have the money to pay for an operation, you didn't have to. And my father performed many operations for nothing. He also prayed before every operation because he was very devout in his Christian faith, and he lived out his Christian faith. And he put it into practice every day of his life. He would pray before every operation because he knew where the real power came from. And he was very happy when he would perform an operation for nothing. He'd say, "To the glory of God." But he was concerned, even toward the end of his years in practicing medicine, that the doctors themselves would even bring on socialized medicine because he felt that they were charging too much for their services and for their office visits. At that time, he commensurately did not feel that they needed to do that. But my father was of the school when he grew up, when he went into medicine. He was taught, and the way he believed, and up to the day that he retired, he believed that a doctor was a servant of mankind, of humanity. He was not a business person. He was there to serve mankind. And he lived that out every day of his life. But he always said, if there ever comes a day, which he saw coming, that socialized medicine would happen in America, it will bankrupt America. Truer words were never spoken, because today our $16 trillion budget cannot afford another $1 trillion and go deeper into debt. We just don't have the money. We'd have to borrow it to have Congress fund the Affordable Health Care Act, known as Obamacare. The federal budget just doesn't have the money there to pay for it. Moreover, the Teamsters Union and other labor union heads have written to President Obama asking him to remove Obamacare because it's costing the average American worker jobs. The employers are laying people off, cutting back their hours because they cannot afford the healthcare premiums under Obamacare. Doctors themselves are either going to have to charge cash-only office visits or not treat Medicare patients or handle any insurance at all because they can't hire the staff to handle the paperwork. You know, Obamacare is going to wreck the best medical health care in the whole world that history of mankind has ever known. So please, call your senator and congressman today and ask them to please defund and repeal Obamacare, and ask them to get President Obama to negotiate with the Congress, because he has refused to do that. 42 to 47 times he has refused the Congress to negotiate the present Obamacare. He even told the Speaker of the House, John Boehner, last week when he got off the airplane in Dallas that called him on the phone, told Mr. Boehner he was not going to negotiate with Congress on Affordable Health Care Act, Obamacare. Even though President Obama will call Putin the head of Russia and the head of Iran and negotiate with them, known enemies to the United States, he will not negotiate with the United States. That's why today, October 1st, we have a shutdown in America in our federal programs, in our federal government, because President Obama was trying to push through an unaffordable health care act, socialized medicine, that nobody wants in America. Even the labor unions see the handwriting on the walls. That is why we, the Congress, shut down Obamacare and shut down the federal government, because President Obama needs to get right with the American people and do what they want, which is to change Obamacare. And it's so voluminous that practically anyone many people haven't even read it. So we need to get real. We need to get right and do what's constitutional. It's unconstitutional for Congress to pass a law, Obamacare, mandating that the people live by it, but that they themselves and President and Vice President and his cabinet are exempt from, which is exactly what Obamacare says. That is unconstitutional. Got to change that, number one. And furthermore, it's a tax. It's a tax on medical devices. It's a tax on you if you don't get Obamacare, and you will have to either get it or be taxed $6,000 that year, every year. And who can afford that? So your premiums are going to go up. They already have, from $200 to $300 to $800, $900 a month. Not only that, your out-of-pocket expenses, office visits might even come to cash. Your out-of-pocket expenses at the hospital, as well as an outpatient care, are going to skyrocket, because 300 million plus the illegal aliens are going to get free care, supposedly free. It's not free, and no more doctors have been added to handle this. So you'll be lucky to even see a doctor. Maybe you'll see a nurse or PA, physician's assistant, but you'll be lucky to ever really see a real doctor. So please listen to my father's advice. American cannot afford socialized medicine, which is what Obamacare is. We can figure out a way, though, that will improve medical care so that it's more affordable for everybody in the United States who's legal to be here. Thank you, and may God bless. And if you want to get your ideas out there on the internet with your blogs or videos, please sign up with me today on Empower Network. Go to my website, theabundantharvest.com. Sign up today, because next week the new version, ENV2, Empower Network version 2, is coming out. So you want to be in there already so that you'll be just streamlined into the new ENV2 system. Thank you, and may God bless. See you soon.